it is time. It's been probably since like high school since I've done any sort of sketchbook tour thing. And it has also probably been since high school since I've actually completed something like front to back. And I really liked how this sketchbook turned out. I got so desperate to try and like fill up every ounce of it that I doodled on these margins. These are Idos from 100 line, but then also on like the front within like the last month of having this, I was filling it with line of action figure studies. So if there's any line of action figure study people, enthusiasts, you will see many recognizable body types. Yeah, in the sense, I started this back in January, I think. Yeah, January. And so I went back over a lot of the pages because I wasn't really like using this as a big like sketchbook so much as also just like an actual notebook. Like there's literally like notes in here from the start of the year about trying to like do job interviews. Because I moved out of my parents' house in the big 2-5, so wow, exciting, and I needed to secure employment. But like there wasn't really anything on these pages except for those notes, so I just went back over maybe like a month ago and was just filling them up with like figure drawings. Because thankfully the current job I do have is a lot of free time, so I've been using it to figure draw and just like touch up on like some fundamentals, as well as just like actively having like time to mindlessly doodle and just get familiar with drawing characters. And speaking of stuff, this is drawings of my character Lita, my protagonist from Sea Reaper's demo out now, as well as art from style studies from Sayonara no Oshite, which I was looking at for some of the, I think this is like the cover art piece for it, and I like the energy of it, so I was trying to do ideas for Lita, hitting that same pose for a save screen, and didn't end up implementing that in the demo, but it's definitely something I want to come back to. There was a Miku on the cross. I do not remember that. This is someone's Instagram from Fan Expo New Orleans. I guess someone gave that out to me. And these Mikus were from a prompt on Blue Sky for drawing a Miku in your universe. And so this was like a Miku Reaper from Scene Reaper's demo out now. You're gonna be hearing that a lot. This is more just like notes from Fan Expo. I table at conventions. That's what I do. I'm a convention tabler. I'm a con artist. These were spindas from a Pokemon like PokeRap collab for Hoenn. More figure drawings. Oh yeah, there's like occasional little like comic doodles of just funny interactions at conventions and stuff that you'll see throughout this. This is always really funny wherever it is, just like someone who's like does not seem like the type of person who's going to buy anything from my booth, and then like they just come up and like they're just very enthusiastic about like talking to me and buying stuff. It's always super sweet. They're always just like the nicest people. These were initial designs for a Team Rocket pen or charm that I did. This is from a friend's wedding right before I moved. Don't know why my Chikawa baggie isn't it, but it's a vibe. These are buttons for mouthwashing that I did. Those are really popular sellers. I haven't tabled a whole lot this year, but every time I have, people are always very excited to see mouthwashing merch. And it's kind of like interesting. There's going to be more Scene Reaper's demo out now. Sketches, this is one of the antagonists, the Maiden. And this is another late game one called the Seraph. But back on the topic of mouthwashing stuff. Something I noticed at the last convention I tabled at, which was in like late June, Anime Festival Wichita, was that people were very like surprised that they just didn't see a lot of mouthwashing like merch as well as cosplayers. Like there were still like one or two, and aside from me there was like a decent amount of people, like, or there was at least one or two other booths that had like merch at it, but it kind of made me wonder, just it feels like the stuff just gets churned out, or not churned out, like the current cycle for things that are in vogue feels like there's such a quick and fast turnaround time now that it feels like it's kind of tricky to figure out what all to make merch of. Because like I really liked mouthwashing, so I was like, I'm happy with making merch of this, but to date this video, oh wait, very important, fuck ice, protect your neighbors. And this is hourly comics, so I'll just like be scrolling through these slowly while I talk. But like, obviously, speaking as someone who makes merch to sell at conventions, it's good to actually like care about what you're making merch for, because like that's gonna resonate. Like people can like smell it on you, I guess, like if you just don't give a shit and they're just like chasing trends or like whatever is popular. But it also just kind of feels like there is just a general quick turnaround for how much stuff is even in vogue anymore. And it's kind of what I'm hesitating to do anything for like K-pop Demon Hunters, where I like the movie just fine. Like, I think it's fun. I listen to a lot of the songs still. Like, Your Idol is a fun villain bop, and Golden is a banger. Ugh. Oh, yeah, very... Oh man, this was made in 2025, alright. But so, there is just kind of a thing, though, of like, I see friends who are making merch for K-pop Demon Hunters, and just part of me is worried about how relevant it's going to be. And I guess the same thing could happen with mouthwashing. Like, granted, people were excited whenever they saw I had mouthwashing merch, but like, it only really sold a lot in February. And then this current, or my most recent convention, back in the end of June, excuse me, just people were excited to see it, but I didn't really sell a whole lot of them. And there's like some stuff that like, or I guess it's just kind of like some stuff nowadays doesn't feel as evergreen, I guess, or has longer shelf life than older series, maybe. I don't know. Like, it's definitely something interesting to consider. I guess context for like these last couple of pages that have the figure drawings over them. These were notes for how to set up my current room, because this was like around the time I was maybe like a week or two out from moving, and so I was just doing a lot of like rough notes for how to set up my room, just because it is a bit tiny, but I make the space work very well. These are more doodles of my protagonist Lita. Scene Reaper's demo out now. And these were from Pensacon. Just doodles at the booth. can also tell when this was because I'm just like, I want to play Infinity Nikki because I got into that game like start of the year, and it is still it's still like something I try and play or like just do my dailies in daily. And you know what, I just have never really fallen. I guess like the closest thing is maybe like getting into Neopets again, but this is probably the longest fling I've had with a game that encourages like consistent playtime and like a gacha mechanic. Or I guess this is like the first like proper gacha I've gotten into. And so like there's just like occasional like Nikki-esque doodles that come in. This was something I overheard at my booth. She's exclusively looking for Pinkie Pie. I thought it was funny. This is just a poorly pasted in collage of some stuff I got later after I moved. Yeah, these were just like to-do notes after moving. This is art of my Nikki. I used like that one like 3-star dress in one of my favorite outfits, the clown one, because it pairs really well with the Midnight Vigil jacket, I think. This is Vera from Scene Reaper's demo out now, as well as Hori. I guess I should also specify that Scene Reapers is a magical girl story. And so these are like the trio of characters in it. Hori is essentially like the Luna or Kiro-chan or a less sinister version of Kyubey for the girls. This is a little comic about my first week on the job. There was a blind box store nearby that I treated myself to, but I had a super runny nose. This next page might have some sensitive info on it. Yeah, we're just gonna skip that one just in case. But this first like month or so of moving, I don't use the sketchbook super consistently, mainly just because Scene Reaper's demo came out on May 15th, and so a lot of my time was just dedicated to focusing on that and coding it in Ren'Py, and so I just didn't have a lot of time or energy between that and settling in. She is a fucked up, sad, religious lady who gets turned into a demon witch, so that's rough, buddy. This page actually was the night of the 15th after I published the demo on itch.io. I just was doing a bunch of Litas to celebrate, and then, oh yes, this is when truly the insanity gets very intense, because I was going back over and just filling up pages. I transferred positions at my current job, and the new one just gave me, that I currently have, just has given me a lot more time to actually draw, and so I was just trying to like make the most of the sketchbook. This was from a karaoke session I went to with my friends to celebrate the demo coming out. So I taped in our song list. It's very cute. This was something for work that I just drew over, as well as just like drawing throughout it. Marlita's in her magical girl form. The magical girls in Scene Reapers are called Reapers. And these are those pencil doodles. I don't usually go for pencil, mainly just because like I don't really like how faded the drawings can get over time. And I know there's a trick with like pasting over it with like a glue stick to help keep like the lead in place, but then you just kind of run into the pages getting really torn or like stuck together. This was like life drawing or observation drawing I think it was the Saturday after the demo launch, so I just like treated myself. I know this is like the following week, whenever I was transferring positions. There was like this gaggle of teenage boys that were like walking along the sidewalk where just one of them was shirtless. One of them had like a trumpet, which is like a shit-ass doodle of it. And I was just very charmed by their little dynamic as I was walking down, or as they were walking down the street. This is more life drawing or observation drawing from the cafe. Sorry, I always get really yawny whenever I'm recording or doing anything. This happens when I'm streaming too. Maybe I just like don't use like breath control or something. But this was from a cafe I was at to celebrate the demo coming out and transferring to a better job position. This is a kind of shitposty version of Hori's actual form, because she's like a little dragon satyr, but her actual dragon form is more of a chicken. And so these are whenever I transferred to a new position. Oh my god. And I had so much more free time. So you're just going to see a lot more spreads like this. This is just more drawings of Lita. There's a point later on in the story that's what I'm working on right now, where she gets a secondary weapon, because the Reapers get scythes, because Scene Reapers is ruled by rule of cool for what middle school Maddie would think is fun, because they're based on middle school designs that I did. This is Lita's magical girl form, Vera's magical girl form, Jesus. I like keep mixing up their names even after like months of like having these girls, and it's heartbreaking. I feel like a shit-ass mom. Oh, see. This is a little comic of a coworker looking at me coloring the shit in with a goo goo gaga baby ass marker. So I just felt embarrassed. This is Vera, civilian form. This was just some doodles of women, random women. I was doing style studies in another sketchbook that's just going to exclusively be reserved for style studies. And I was doing them of just a couple of like online content creators, so like Genja Ninja and like Vivian, first name basis, Vivzy Pop. And so I think some of that like character design is like based off of like one of her like Zootophobia characters or something. It is hard to keep like conversation going with this. I'm out of practice too of just having not streamed since I moved, but more figure drawings. And a page of Hori! So Hori, like I said, she is not really... She's like the mentor, like the guide for Scene Reapers for Lita and Vera, but she is much more aligned to Kiro-chan than Kube or Luna, where she's just real ditzy. Hori's kind of dumb and silly, but like, she probably has like, I think she has the best emotional intelligence, or like, just willingness to show kindness to strangers out of the trio. Here is Vera and Lita in alternative outfits. But, like, the thing with the Scene Reapers trio is that all three of them are bad at being people in different ways. This is based off of Molang, I think is the name. Trying to do pajama designs for the girls. So I was wanting to do a little graphic of that on a t-shirt for Vera. This is an outfit of the day that I end up just kind of adopting as a new way to draw myself in. This is like from Pinterest, I think. This is other OCs, trying to figure out a design or like a poster design that's more like sleazy eroge vibes. Oh my gosh, you can't even like make out what's on this page. That's crazy. It was essentially just like rough drafts for these, which were like fill in with like your characters. But so, like I said, all three of these girls are bad at being people. Like, Lita is apathetic to herself, Vera is apathetic to others, and Hori is just has too big of a heart for her own good, essentially. Like, these two are very mentally ill, and Hori is not nearly as mentally ill, but has a lot of stuff going on. Because Reapers are women, well, typically women, who have encountered or experienced like a near-death that lets them actually become like, or have the capability of becoming magical girls. And unfortunately, that means that it's a lot of people with bad mental health or mental health issues. Oh, and this is where the motherfucker of all time starts appearing in this damn sketchbook. You're gonna be seeing a lot of him. He takes it over from being predominantly OCs to the Ido Asuki sketchbook machine. It is actually kind of embarrassing. These are more doodles of me because it is so fun to draw yourself. And it was doing sketches for that trend where it's like, I think that Billie Eilish song where you draw yourself throughout like the ages and like growing up. And I never did it, but I do still really like these. These are cute. Oh yes. This was actually the first Ido page where I was just doing like style studies of sprites as well as just some pieces of fan art. I do not remember who drew the fan art. I'm really sorry about that. I should have like written down like who the handles. But so me and the Ido minds, this has not stopped. I drew this like maybe a month ago and it continues to be so true. And just he's such a little ooh. So Ido is a little moe blob of a man. And spoilers for the 100 line after I talk about this page. This is one of the bad guys from Scene Reapers. This is a Luciferian called the Incubator, where she is a cute little anime nurse scoil who will kill you and slice you to pieces with energy attacks. Because the bad guys in Scene Reapers are called Luciferians, and they just look like cute anime girls as a tactic to make you lower your guard, and it is just played straight. Like, they do not have scary eldritch forms. They're just funny little moe blobs. These are from Pride. There was a really pretty woman who had this outfit, so I drew Hori in it. The girls next to us in the Pride Parade, everyone was like handed out these little like free joint cards, and so just I've never rolled a joint. And just, it felt like something that would happen to the Scene Reaper girlies because they are losers. I'm not saying these women were losers, but Vera and Lita, and kind of by proxy Hori, are all lame. They're all fucking chumps. And so they are not cool enough to know where to get weed. The story takes place in 2002, so it's not even like legal in some states. These are just more outfits that I saw. Lots of really cool outfits at Pride. This is a later Scene Reapers character that if I ever do a sequel, she'll show up. She is a drag queen Reaper magical girl named Dixie Normus, and she's awesome. Oh yes, here is Ido Asuki smoking weed and coughing up a lung and getting the scaries, because I asked Tumblr if he would get the scaries and people said yes. Takumi just is big chillin'. This is based on things that have happened to me, of hitting the dab so poorly that like you're coughing up like so hard you trigger a gag reflex and no one else gives a shit because everyone else is high as shit. These are other characters for another story outside of Scene Reapers. This is Tammy. She's immortal. She's a little private PI and demon hunter. And this is Yuri's. She is the reason Tammy's immortal. She's a goddess who her sole worshiper is Tammy. This is more figure drawing. These are rough ideas for a print that's just a big collage of like a lot of the like tchotchkes that are really big that I have some of, like a Labubu or in Sunny Angels and Schmitzkys. I think they're also called like Niffies, something called Niffies. They're cute. More Aito Asuki. Fucking Aito Asuki with fucking bunny thighs. That shit's gay. Lita with ponytail. Aitos. So many Aitos. This was based off of, so there's an image of like a Sonic plushie that is surrounded by a bunch of Amy Rose plushies. And someone on Twitter did that with like Aito and Takumi because they are yaoi full. I should say 100 line is made by the same guy, like the Danganronpa and the Zero Escape guy, and you can tell that like Kodaka went full sicko mode with putting like Hinata Komaeda relationship dynamic up to 1000. This is a rough idea for a print that you will see later in this sketchbook, like a failed version of it that I sold at Anime Fest Wichita, and people really liked. Hooray. This is a princess rescuer, Takumi, and Princess Aito AU. This is Vera just saying my thoughts. Vera is also a proud Fujoshi lesbian. Like, let your freak fly, queen. This was based off like a trio dynamic because I was like, I haven't drawn my OCs in a while because it was just Aito Asuki all the fucking time. All day, every day. More Aito surrounded by women. I really like this Lita. Like, I really want to like actually like scan this or take a photo of it and like render it as like a cute little like piece of like art for her. More Aito and Takumi. This motherfucker is kissing him so aggressively. Calm down! These are based off of the new Nikki, or it was at the time, like the 1.6 banner. And that's also where I got the idea for Princess Aito, was just because I really liked what the hat looked like. I ended up not getting it because I stopped playing Nikki consistently because I got really into 100 line. The roomies. I really associate the MCR song Teenagers with 100 line, and I want to do a print of it, but I also have the idea for like a lyric stuck with it. Some Dixie Doodles. This is Dixie out of drag. His name is Dylan. Mini skirts and go-go boots. Chaperone moment. More fucking Aito Asuki and band AU Takumi. I did this AU before the collab came out. I did this before the pop-up merch. I felt so vindicated to have like Takumi on vocals. But in my AU, Aito is a stalker fan. Kicks my feet in glee. Kurara, Sleepy Takumi. I think I was also just trying to get used to drawing Takumi. This is a very off-model Aito site, just because I have not really drawn much of him in his class armor or his weapon. Oh, my partner was just like, oh, you're just kind of in like the Aito cage at work, because like I'm just kind of like in my own little room. Oh my gosh. The Aito wall. There's so many of this fucking freak. This is a Venn diagram of OCs from Scene Reapers and my other story, Grimoire, between who says that takes guts and your ball's huge. Here is Aito using my unfortunate knowledge of shock sites and shock material, and it feels like something that both he and Arumi would have experience with. This is Vera with a different hairstyle. I think it's very cute. I think she's very silly. Because I think, yeah, this is around the time I actually started like changing how I drew her hair, because, so funny thing, like getting obsessed with Abe Lorbo and then like drawing him over and over again does kind of do wonders, just because you do kind of end up like taking a break from drawing like everything else, and so you kind of come back to things with fresh eyes, or just maybe just a refined sense of how you draw. Oh, these were more Dixie, I guess I should say, not to like leave her out to dry. Her scythe, because all the Reapers have a scythe, would probably be like these two little mini scythes attached to by a chain. She's silly. And then her secondary weapon is like a little shiv that's disguised as lipstick. And then her Reaper partner, I haven't figured out a design for, but her name is Alexandria Yamamoto, because I saw those two names and I was like, wow, those actually fuck really hard together. Oh yeah, this is just more of the unfortunate knowledge of shock sights being projected onto these broads amongst figure drawing. But I do think that like just getting so obsessed with Aito like did kind of help my art, and just that I essentially was speedrunning how I wanted to draw him. And so I just kind of figured out a lot of ways to do like styling shorthand. And so I got to like figure out a lot of ways to do like shorthand and simplify things, that even if it's not like this exact like hairstyle or how I like draw him, like I just kind of feel like having those revised ideas in my head let me tackle the Scene Reaper designs in a way to kind of make them snazzier. These are like outfit of the day things. I got this at not a protest. I did not go to a protest and get that shirt. And more Idos. The occasion, yeah. Hi, Lita, I missed you. Like, literally, like, this entire, I think, probably from, like, here, it was just non-stop Ido Asuki with the occasional break. And it's just, it's a delirium. It's an actual illness. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is he doing there? Get the fuck out. Oh yeah, this was just, like, from, like, a line of action pose. And I was like, wow, that's such an Ido thing to do. Hee. It's actually sickening. It's sickening what this man does to you. Like, Kodaka put cocaine in 100 line. More figure drawings with Ido and Takumi. Because someone on Tumblr made a really good point about, like, Takumi, like, or the idea that Takumi sees himself as such a good guy for, like, continuing to have Ido in his life. And so this was like I took a charity case to you, Takumi-kun, and then just, let's see how charitable you can be. They kiss. More Idos. I really like this one. He's cute. He's so moe. He's so moe. Like, my god. This bitch moe. Woman at work. This is Dude had a Merry Christmas phone case. Yeah, this guy was awesome. This is more non-Scene Reapers characters. Oh my gosh, if I could stop having fucking shaky cam. Of Justine, where just some interactions based off a buddy who just says the most like out-of-pocket shit, and I love her for it. It's just something that I'm like, wow, my OC would say this too. Oh look, more Ido Asuki. He sickens me. His fucking face sickens me. Full of goo and dust. I probably was like having a very bad allergy day. Oh yeah, this is fan art for Tayaki's Absolute Boyfriend AU for Ido and Takumi, where I like how pointy she draws them, and so I wanted to do fan art because they have very funny comics and they're silly. More Ida with my character Cal, who's my like OC Blorbo. He's a little shit-ass man too, so I just have a type stupid Takumi. Ida the Oshawott because I cannot be helped, and my roommates are both on, like, restarted and are playing through Unova Pokemon games. And I was like, oh, I should do that, and neither of them, one of them has Snivy and the other has Tepig, so I'm like, oh, I should do an Oshawott, and what if I made it Idle? Like, actually, like, sickening how, like, obsessed with this man I quickly became. Like, I don't do a lot of, like, fandom stuff. Outside of, like, outside of making merch to sell at conventions, like, I just don't really, like, engage with fandom stuff, but, like, and, like, draw fan art this fervently. But, like, this man, this fucking guy, has just done something to me. And I fear that it's just terminal. This was doing con prep, so this was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago when Anime Fest Wichita was. More like Vera doodles, but you can tell, like, kind of what I was saying, where, like, you become, like, so obsessed with an object of fixation that it kind of gives you a fresh set of eyes to draw with, because I kind of figured out, like, a way to, like, simplify how I was drawing Vera's hood, and I really like how stylized it is, where, like, you don't necessarily see, like, all the intricacies of how, like, the hood overlaps, like, where her hairline shows. Like, it's just, like, a very simple shape. And these were art fight prep of Charlotte from Pie Pixie, one of my online buddies, and then my buddy Ree, whose character I'm blanking out on, but it's reanimated vampire poodle character. Very yummy, because this is a test for how I'm going to do art fight attacks later on. More Hories! More Hories! That's my Goyle. Oh yeah, this was quick little boards for how I wanted to do a art fight video announcement. These are Buddy's OCs, these are Nipnesses, JT Andres, and Jobbox. And then just more Hories presented through them. So the Ido Fever did reduce a little bit because I'm drawing, like, my Goyles again with, like, a renewed sense of vigor and joy. Oh, this is, fuck, what is his name? Another Buddy's OC. Gunho's character. Oh, this was yet another stolen valor from a buddy who experienced this, where a boss saw them, like, smoking outside in the dark and thought that was a sign of mental distress. And that is just absolutely something that these fucking squares would feel and react to. More Hoey, that's my Goyle. Oh yes, this is just full on Scene Reaper's renaissance of drawing them in Pinterest outfits and just, like, missing my girls oh so much, and just drawing them in fun little outfits that also kind of tweaked, like, some of their current outfits. Of course, that makes more work for me, but it's fine. Oh yes, so these are some Takumis and Itos, and then this is that misprint of that Itaku print I was talking about. I can put, like, the full actual print on, but the printer stopped, so I just ended up putting it in here. And then some Vera's. She doesn't have a lot of friends, but she definitely is one of those people where, like, so, like, early internet, like, even more so than nowadays, where, like, everyone kind of has to interact with the internet. Like, early 2000s was more just, even more for, like, social recluses and weirdos, and so most of her relationships or friendships were on there. This was trying to give her another alt outfit, as well as tweak the idea of having some chunky boot. And this is another Scene Reaper's character named Farah. And she is cool. She is very cute. I like her a lot. She is a cosplayer because I saw TikToks of people with hijabs who use them for like as like their wigs, and it's genuinely some of the most creative shit I've ever seen. And so I'm like, oh, that fucks really hard. And so it's also just been like really interesting to like research and like get better familiar with like having a Muslim character and like reaching out to Muslim buddies, as well as just like researching online like all the intricacies for like trying to write her, just to make sure like I do it respectfully. And this is some whips for the teenager print I was talking about, because it's gonna have the entire cast in it, so it's gonna be a lot of characters. Oh yeah, Farah gets big bow on hijab because I think it is cute. And these were during Anime Fest Wichita. Oh yeah, so I stole this from an oofy I made there, where they had a little notebook for people to write down their art fight teams. And I got like 1 or 2 people on like a slip of paper the first day, and I was like, oh, I should do that too. And then proceeded to not give this to anyone. And so I just like drew like some Pinterest like models over it. Otaku for the minds. The freaks play 100 line. Yes, I agree, past Maddie. These are my buddy Kate's OCs. We co-tabled at it. It was a vibe. This was an attendee who I just really liked his aura. Some more Itos for morale. Very funny thing to experience of just someone walking past a open door to like a panel where they were just making anime noises, and this person in cosplay was just actively grimacing, so I could only imagine what was going through her head. Slash pause. Like I was very like tickled by it. More hories, more random women. I think these were based off 2 attendees I saw. Smelly Takumi. Oh yeah, I had a really good time, and like I'll absolutely go back to Anime Fest Wichita. It just sometimes I would catch a whiff of the smell, and I was like, oh no. More doodles of myself. I definitely was feeling the fact that I hadn't tabled since February, because like this entire next week, like I was out of it. These are some drawings of my Sona Imp. I got the idea for a Otaku animatic, so I was just trying to doodle that. These were K-pop Demon Hunter expression studies, because Kate and I watched it at Anime Fest Wichita and had a very good time. Oh, this was... I felt so bad, because like this was like something I overheard in the bathroom, where there was like a younger person who very clearly was having like a bad time, and then someone was like, an adult was trying to comfort them, but they kept doing like a high-pitched voice, so it was like, it's okay, like it happens to everyone, and it was just very like disorienting. It did seem like the teenager was taking like they're comforting the heart, so at least there was that. This is more of the animatic ideas. It is to be more chill, because the 100 line really just goes every fucking direction, because there's over 100 endings. I really like these idols. Like, he's so cute. He started giving the big chunky eyelash. And so, like, those endings just go all over the place. But so, Be More Chill is not nearly as separate from 100 line as you might think. This is when Art Fight officially started, so this is my first attack at Ashpricot. And these are some studies for a RAM character I have. And this was like a 12-year-old at work who like was decked out in candy and stuff, like the rave beads. And I told her that I really liked her candy, and she like beamed at me. It was very cute. These are more another attack for Marine Loves You. Yeah, I started doing like sketchbook pages for attacks, and honestly, like, people have been like very receptive to them, so it's very sweet. These are some Scene Reapers notes because I've actually finally started to, like, after like a month and a half to like pushing 2 months of not really doing anything, I'm finally like, I need to work on this again, or I want to. This is Lizard 15-8, or 158 if you're cool. Another attack for, or an attack for them. And then there's 2 attacks on these pages. The first one is Blue by King Squishy. Goatman is not part of that. That is my devil / Satan equivalent for Grimoire. His name is Babados. I just felt compelled to actually try and figure out how to draw him, because despite making a goat anthro, I struggled to draw him for years. This is my good buddy Pie Pixie. It's an attack for them, for the character Crystal. And here is my Goat Man. He's so big. His devil Satan power is essentially just that, like, if you think of his name, like, he gets a view into your mind. So he is essentially just a walking, like, info hazard, and I love that for him. He's so fucking schmexy and evil with it. And so then there's some more doodles of one of his, I don't know if narrative counterparts, but like another antagonist who also antagonizes him, because he's part of like, kind of like a 3-way rivalry with her and an angel. But this is War, like 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, like embodiment of war. She's just a mean, evil gilf, and I drew her with Lizard's death just because I felt like they would get along as mean, evil gilfs. And some more Scene Reapers in fashion. Just testing out some new like highlighters that I got that are like inkjet highlighters, but so they're kind of, I don't really like them after like trying them out for like 2 weeks, where they just, instead of like a conventional like marker, they are how do I say this? They're like more closer to like an oil pastel. It's very strange. This is another attack on Plazapaw of their little Sona. It's very cute. This was from 4th of July at a roommate's parents' house, where we just were talking about like our experience with like Homestuck and stuff, and we both agreed through like our shared, like, after sharing how we discovered the concept of Homestuck, that the trolls just look like DeviantArt mascots. This is another doodle of it where there's a firework named MILF, and whenever it was about to get set off, like, people were chanting for it, and this is like our 3 Sonas just chilling. This is also, I think, the day the collab, the like Maid Cafe collab for 100 Line came out. And so I was doodling that because I have not drawn Gaku and Yugamu, but my partner really likes them, so I doodled this for them because this is just kind of their dynamic. This is some fun ideas where, like, what if there's like a celebrity Reaper, and like kind of like a Sailor V kind of dynamic. So it is Reaper Z. So it's like an all-black Reaper. Is essentially like more of a celebrity in like the supernatural sphere of the Scene Reapers universe. Yeah, just the girls being like, that's a stupid fucking name. And this like Hori, who's like part from like the supernatural side of the world, just being like, no, she's so fucking cool. Because like this is just like, that's like meeting like a movie star, like a super celebrity. And so some more imp doodles. These were like ideas for like the thumbnail for this video, and it's absolutely going to include Aito, and so I was just doodling him. Some more Reaper Z. I thought the color was Sailor Z. She's Reaper Z because of a reference to Powerpuff Girls Z. Some more Vera out of Maguka and in Maguka. Let's see. Oh, so these are from Cat's Eye. drawings. There's Laura, just like some outfit studies. I know this is like one of the girls from Dream Academy, but like I saw her dance video and I just like, she just kept striking so many cool poses. And so me getting into like a girl group under the guise of like, oh, I can like draw them. A lot of Teary Vera's, a list of everything I was going to have like thrown in together for dinner. It was very yummy that night. Oh yeah, so this is a pop star goddess character I have named Gefest. And so I just was doodling a lot of like cat's eye outfits on her. Let's see. Oh yeah, and just like a bunch of different hairstyles. Because I like the idea of like her outfits and like design just like changing up constantly. This is another art fight attack of Marie from Oslo. And then 2 more art fight attacks of Kim from John Box, and then Lilith from Dolly Fangs. Yeah, I think these were like the start of the week. Yeah, so like I was like, oh, I need to like do this shit. And you can kind of tell like I was running out of steam for this because like, well, there's another Ido wall. There's another fucking Ido wall. I like this new development where there's this creature mode where he just fucking looks like that. Partially inspired by Oslam's drawings of Ido. Let's see, some more chibi Idos. There's a guy with a funny shirt. Chill out. It was like bedazzled. Oh yeah, these are like dream comics that I want to start doing. Where I just had like a weird stress dream of like my hair suddenly growing rapidly. And like people just telling me like that's just how it, like that's just what happens sometimes. And I was like, no. No. Some more Ido to get me through it. Comparing my OC Blorbo to my Ido Blorbo. This is design notes from my character Mars, based off of like Infinity Nikki Banner gloves that I really liked. Horse. Crom. Takumi-kun! He would say that. He does say that. Boy Hell 1999. Like, that's just what Ido lives in every damn day. And this is the last page, where it's more Mars drawings. They towed my car. My car got towed on Tuesday. The city has made an enemy of me. I got it back fine, but it sucked ass. And then, yeah, last page is Mars, and then my other stories, protagonist Sabrina. And then a see ya from the Scenery Birds girlies. Yeah. And then, yeah, like, there's just some Ido Asukis, like, baked into the margins. Then, yeah, I started this sometime on, like, the 6th of January, and then it ended on the 9th of July. And, yeah, so that is that one. So I guess a look at, like, the front and back of it. There's, like, this was just, like, a one-piece journal. Tied this little guy onto him. And let's see, I have my current one that I started earlier this week. I usually have just started like skipping the first pages of sketchbooks just to make them a bit less scary. This I doodled like this evening because I saw a character in art fight with like chaps, and I'm like, you know what? War has like a cowgirl theme going on. Like, why not try and see if I like that for her design? Very surreal to have like something nicer than like notebook paper quality and being like an actual like bigger size sketchbook. So like I'm just like, whoa. So I doodled myself a lot because I'm egotistical. I also went out and got lunch the day after, or the day of, to try to make myself feel better about my car being towed. It's okay, I got it back. This was another dream where Yugamu from 100 Line is just like, oh, I need to like go and like relieve myself. But instead of going to the bathroom, we went to the closet, and then I go to the bathroom right next to the closet, and he's like peering out at me, And then he's like explaining to me like, oh, I thought you were coming to kill me. I didn't know you thought about me that way, because this is just like a you got me dynamic. Some more Horis. I got the idea because the current pen that I'm using is kind of a shit-ass pen. And so it kind of fucked up with like her hair, but I kind of like it. And so I kind of brought down like her side bangs and like shortened her like actual hair just to kind of give it a bit more visual interest. So I'm experimenting with that. And this is based off like a Lucky Star redraw I did with the girls, based off of something a buddy in a server said. Because like, I was like, do you think Hori can swim as like a little dragon? They're like, oh, like maybe with like a floaty. And I'm like, dude, so true. And then like some side profiles of the Goyles. Yeah, this is me. Why is my $2 pen ass? I asked myself that question. And then hunkering down more for Scene Reapers, because this is a character that appears in Act 2. Scene Reapers is going to be released in Acts just to make it more survivable for me. His name is the Gargoyle. He's like the same, well, he's like a replica of the same species that Hori is, and he's like a stone version. And then this is my character Alec, because someone had like a cool design out t-shirt design at work. And I just kind of feel like Alec just has like a bunch of like cool t-shirts. And so I like the idea of like his sprites, because like all my stories are going to be like visual novels. Like the idea of like the most like his style changes is like a bunch of different t-shirts later and a bunch of different jackets and accessories, and he calls that fashion, and he's right. This is his sister Maria, or Mars. Just doodling her. This was from today. And then more attacks. This is Lenaxes Lilith. Another Lilith. This is a potential button design. Because I got past the Yowie on my timeline because I am filming this on Friday. And then this is my Oomphy Toasty Ghosty, another attack for him. And then like some whips for an actual digital art attack, and then some leaders at the bottom. And yeah, so it's very exciting to get back into like sketchbooking again, and I'll probably do like a tour of this one too, just because I have a lot of time on my hand now with my current job, and I get to like fill up pages in a way that I think is very visually interesting. So stick around if you want to see more of that, I guess. Bye bye.